One of the most recognizable racetracks in the world, Killarney in Cape Town played host to rounds 3 and 4 of the newly established Bankfin Pro Car Challenge. The younger sibling of the Bankfin Touring Car Championship is still growing, but has attracted some top names already.
Colin, first on the grid for both Pro Car races, you must be very happy.
Yeah, I am, Jonathan. You know, we had a fantastic race so far this weekend with a Spaniard Nissan Primera. First practice was a bit of a disaster. We didn't put enough fuel in the car, but hell, we got it right for the second one. 0.4 of a second quickest. I'm very, very happy to have first position for both races. It's a good start. We came here wanting to get the car onto pole position. Spaniard have put a lot of effort into the car, and I hope to reward them in the Bankfin Pro Car Series, which is a tremendous series to be involved in at the moment.
We pick up the action on the second lap with Colin Hasty leading George Besaidnot, Davy Hubert, Brian Martin and Marco de Cunha. Besaidnot had been making his way through from the back of the field as his qualifying time had been disallowed after he failed the ride height check. With another 12 laps to go, Hasty in the Spaniard Nissan Primera had a comfortable lead of some 2 seconds over Besaidnot in his Nissan engine gearbox exchange Primera. But the veteran saloon car racer was being hard pushed by Hubert in his Hillbank Honda Ballard and Martin in his Speedy's Toyota Corolla. De Cunha was making his saloon car racing debut and was bringing up the rear in his Nissan Valid Value Elf Lubricants Primera. The Bankfin Pro Car Challenge is a new formula in South Africa and was established to allow privateer drivers into the touring car fold. Run in accordance with internationally established rules, the idea is that this category will take over as the only touring car formula in South Africa within the next few years, and also to allow for international competition. Pro Car is already highly successful in Britain, Belgium, Germany, France, Finland, Holland and New Zealand, and is fast becoming a World Series with 16 manufacturers competing. It's still early days for the formula in this country, with the series making its debut in East London last month, and another 3 or 4 cars are currently being built.
Marco, brand new Pro Car, how's it gone today?
Well, we didn't go too badly considering we've only done 8 laps in the car because we only got the car ready halfway through the first qualifying session. And for the first heat we're second and the next heat we're fourth, so it's not too bad considering the number of laps we've done.
What's it like driving the saloon car?
I enjoy it a lot. It's very different to a single-seater, but I think it's nice because you can have close mirror-to-mirror racing, and so I'm enjoying it a lot.
Young de Cunha has already established himself as one of South Africa's top karters with an eye on international competition, and getting into saloon cars should broaden his horizons. Hasty used to be a top runner in the Group N racing in the early 90s, but took a sabbatical and made his comeback 2 years ago, moving up to touring cars this year as we rejoin the race on lap 7 out of 15. Hasty and Besaidnot have been gradually pulling away from Hubert, Martin and de Cunha, with Besaidnot setting the fastest time and a new lap record in his pursuit of the race leader. The Bankfin Pro Car Challenge is being run concurrently to the Bankfin Touring Car Championship, and there are a number of significant differences between the two categories. These concern the number of modifications allowed to the engines, transmissions and suspension systems, as well as the size of the wheels and tyres. Being a new formula, reliability is still a bit of a problem, and while the 3 Nissan Primeras and the Toyota Corolla ran like clockwork, unfortunately Davy Hubert had to park his Honda Ballard with mechanical failure. Meanwhile, George Besaidnot was starting to catch Colin Hasty, but the race leader could control the pace and took his first victory ahead of the East London double winner. Martin completed the podium in 3rd, ahead of de Cunha, who could feel very happy with the result of his debut race.
We've got our first win. I'm really happy. We went away, got a bit of a gap. George was coming towards us. I was controlling the gap. We had a bit of a problem with the front tyre with some understeer, but hell, I'm so happy to bring the car home in one piece and in first place. Really,
so you'll be doing a bit of celebrating tonight anyway?
Oh, we may have a mild party.
Bankfin, the right deal for you.
Round 4 of the Bankfin Pro Car Challenge, and on lap 3 the cars were much closer together. Hasty ahead of Besaidnot, Hubert, Martin and de Cunha as we join George Besaidnot right through Conti Corner. Having started second on the grid this time, he wasn't going to allow Hasty such an easy ride this time. Hasty was still struggling with understeer problems in his Spaniard Nissan Primera, so Besaidnot knew that here could be an opportunity to put his Nissan engine gearbox exchange Primera into the lead. rules for Bankford Pro cars allow for limited modifications to the 2-litre engines, and although the basic specifications of the original engine must remain, blueprinting is allowed and the camshaft may be changed. The standard 5-speed gearbox must be used, although a limited slip diff may be fitted. As far as the suspension is concerned, the original configuration must remain, as must the original mounting points, but springs and dampers may be changed. The body must also remain standard, and just like with the Bankford touring cars, no aerodynamic aids may be fitted. Bankford Pro cars run on 15-inch wheels compared to the 16 inches for touring cars, while all of them run on Yokohama slicks. The exhaust systems and the front brakes may be changed, but the rear brakes must remain standard. Unfortunately for Davy Uber, he once again had to park his Hillbank Honda Ballard. Luckily there was no walk involved this time, he could take it to the pits. To lap 6 now, and still the battle for the lead continued, with Besaidnout putting maximum pressure on Hasty. Uber's demise had brought Brian Martin in a Speedy's Toyota Corolla into 3rd, and Marco de Cunha in his Nissan Valid Value Elf Lubricants Primera into 4th. Besaidnout has been around for a long time and has been building his own racing cars with various levels of factory support over the years, and he was leading the Bankford Pro Car Challenge coming to this race after his 2 victories in East London. Colin Hasty didn't score points there and was trailing Martin and Hubert, who had been joint 2nd in the series before Cape Town, 8 points behind Besaidnout. The series is slowly growing with more cars in the pipeline, and by the end of the year one should expect to see more than 10 in this field, with close racing as the cars are developed and fine-tuned. Brian Martin seemed to have sprung an oil leak going down the main straight. Back-end car with George Besaidnout as he closes in on Colin Hasty, and on the run into engine corner he saw his opportunity as Hasty went wide. A nice move down the inside, and the two of them exited the corner side by side. This is what we're likely to see in the future, as the two evenly matched drivers played chicken with each other to see who would be the last to break for Shell Corner. But Besaidnout had the track position right and made the move stick, immediately moving to a defensive line through Sabat Sweep. With the two leaders glued to each other into the long Killarney back straight, it was the end of the road for Brian Martin, who had to pull off the circuit after mechanical failure in his car. This was slightly more than an oil leak in the end. Forward now to lap 9 out of 15, and Besaidnout was still leading Hasty, although there was nothing between the two. Besaidnout stayed on the inside for Conti, also because of the oil on the racing line, and Marco de Cunha was up into 3rd position now following Brian Martin's retirement. Excellent for the Middelburg schoolboy on the podium in only his 2nd ever saloon car race. Coming into NGN again, Besaidnout kept a wary eye out for Hasty, who was up to it, and perhaps he did that for just a fraction too long as he ran wide and had no choice but to let Hasty through. Good, clean racing between two experienced drivers, providing the spectators with a great display of driving and racing skills. This battle was set to continue for the rest of the race as Hasty and Besaidnout diced for victory, with Hasty seeming to just edge in terms of performance, pulling away from Besaidnout in the faster corners of the circuit. Besaidnout, on the other hand, had the better handling car and could close in on the twisty bits. Marco de Cunha in 3rd has a lot of international karting experience, having competed in the World Championships a number of times. George Besaidnout was still desperately trying to get closer to Hasty, but again he had to watch Colin pull away. And Hasty held on to that tenuous lead for the rest of the race, although he couldn't afford to relax at all, and the order remained that to the end, with Hasty beating Besaidnout by 0.4 of a second. A great result for young Marco de Cunha in 3rd, finishing a further 23 seconds down, but there's a lot more to come from him once he gets his car sorted out. Celebrations all around, and good things in the pipeline augur well for the future of the Bankford Pro Car Challenge. Besaidnout held on to his lead in the series, but Colin Hasty's 2 victories had brought him to within 2 points of Brian Martin. Hubert dropped to 4th, 4 points ahead of de Cunha.
George, consolidation in the Pro Car Championship. Good day for you today.
Yes, it was a good day. After winning both heats at East London, I consolidated 2 second places today, so I'm still leading the championship. And that's what I want to do.
Good dices with Colin today?
Yes, unfortunately, they put me at the back of the grid for the first heat, which didn't make me any happy. But I came through the field and I finished 2nd behind him in the 2nd race. We had a good dice, I got past him. Unfortunately, I then went off onto the oil and he got past me again. So yes, it was a good dice.